Myths and conceptions. A lot of people fear AI, or not probably the fear, but the fear of learning something new. Oh, it's new. Oh, I don't really know. I'm not comfortable with that. So let's talk about some myths and conceptions. What's the easiest things that we can demyth of using AI?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people like AI is going to steal my job.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to happen a little bit. There are certain jobs that it's just so darn good at doing it. It's going to eliminate that completely. But for the most people, it's not AI that's going to take their job. It's somebody who knows how to use AI that will. And as long as you've got that understanding and start to learn it yourself, you're protecting your job.
Today, we unlock the mind of a man who turned a near death into a life mission and who builds success one belief at a time and who now teaches people how to use AI like a superpower. Earl Waud is here to show us how to upgrade our minds, our tools, and our lives. Welcome to the podcast, Earl. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Ricky. Thank you so much for having me on. This is very exciting for me.
Thank you so much. Well, Earl, it's quite cool to have you on it because you are the first Jack Canfield certified success principles trainer like me who's come on the podcast. So it's like I'm talking to someone who just knows my love language. So good to see you.
Yeah. Kindred spirits.
That's right. So I have to make sure that during this podcast that this doesn't go off too, like quote tennis, success principles tennis, where we both reel off all the things because we both all know that. But before we obviously dive into this, because there's this massive concept we want to talk about, which is about AI, the things that you've done in your life, which will kind of unravel throughout this. You're a professional speaker, you're a coach, you're an author, you're an AI educator, you're a founder of the Hindsight Mentor, huge movement on that. Also Canfield Success Principles trainer, as we've mentioned, and other things such as a best-selling author, or I should say plural, best-selling authors. That's just incredible. So where do we even start with that?
Well, there is a lot. I'll throw one more in there for you. I'm also a painter of landscapes in the style of Bob Ross. I've followed Bob Ross since I was a little kid, and that's one of my creative outlets is to create landscape paintings. So that's a total unique and different thing about me. So.
I love it, Jack. We are. I said Jack there because what was on my mind was a jack of all trades. I'm very similar in terms of lots of different things.
Yes.
So love it. Well, let's talk about a little bit about AI and this whole thing that's like taken over within just a short period of like a couple of years. One of the things that I wanted to discuss about this was this whole idea about what does the future look like for AI? Because we know that we have seen over the last couple of years how it's just been adopted so fast. And even 10-year-olds are now going out there and creating amazing businesses and generating lots of cash and income. So AI, where do we even start with this?
Well, it is going to disrupt everything. In my opinion, there isn't a business industry category that won't be impacted a lot by this technology, right? It is so inexpensive. It is so effective. It is so fast, and it just produces brilliant results to the point where if you're in business and you're not using it, you're going to fall behind, right? So as a business owner, you've got to adopt it, get good at using it right now. Don't wait, because it is here now. It's not the future. There are things that we're going to see AI do, I believe, in the next 5 years that will revolutionize our lives. It's going to change medicine, right? It'll find cures or at least reduce challenges by certain medical conditions. I honestly expect it to cure cancer. I think it's going to be doing stuff like that. We're going to see it move into physical form off of computers, right? There's going to be robots, if you will, that are going to be using AI to interact with us, do tasks. A lot of the entry-level jobs that people know now will be replaced by automation using AI. I expect Lyft and Uber to be impacted, right? You won't need the drivers. The cars will drive themselves pretty soon. That's already starting to happen in some places. The ability to have conversations with AI on complex topics is going to just keep growing and growing to the point where it'll solve major problems, not just medical, but just everything you can imagine, and some we probably can't even imagine yet. And it's just fun. There's so many different ways to use it just for pure enjoyment, creating images and videos and other things that are just pure fun.
It's funny because this the platform we're using now to record this. So if anyone's listening to this rather than watching it, don't forget to head on to YouTube. You can watch this interview. But one of the things that Riverside have just released, which is really fun and super cool, is it gives an animation of your actual video. So it can now use AI to transform us into aliens, soft cuddly toys, Sesame Street kind of things. So it's super fun, and just with the click of a finger, and it's done. Which I find really fascinating, because years and years ago, if you was to get someone to go do that and edit the whole thing, that would take days or even weeks, and professionals to do that. So I'm curious to ask you about this, about the whole idea of, are we at risk here of professionals, let's say video editors, graphics designers, completely losing everything because AI, in the speed of it creating, can just wipe them out?
That's a really good question. And I believe that it's not going to wipe them out, that if those categories of skills, people who have those embrace AI and start to use it, it's only going to exponentially increase their capabilities, right? If they're reluctant to go down the path of AI and try to fight it, then they're in trouble, frankly, right? It's going to work the same in the music industry, because AI now can create incredible music. And if you're using it, then you're going to win. If you're not, you're going to fall behind, right? And I think we'll see that in most categories of business and technology.
It's funny because the thought that comes to my mind is this idea about fake news, and fake content. Whether that is a government having its own agenda or somebody having its own agenda, how are we going to, safeguard the future so that we know what is real and what's not? Because already we're seeing, I think it was Taylor Swift. There were some fake photos of her in a specific position or whatever, let's say, that wasn't real. But obviously people are led to believe it, and we know social media, quick hits, viral videos. How are we going to safeguard this with what's going to happen?
Well, that's another good question, and I don't have an exact answer for that. I know that it's going to spawn a whole new industry of technology and tools that will be used to be able to distinguish real from fake, right? Those tools don't exist yet, and there are probably a lot of people developing them or trying to develop them. And like you said, it is going to be fairly easy to create content that is fake and looks real enough to believe. I know I'm a little bit guilty of that myself. I'm playing right now. I have a client that I'm working with one-on-one coaching with AI to create content for her keynote speeches. In her speeches, she uses one of Napoleon Hill's ideas of counseling with a legendary council of visionaries. And she uses Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, Margaret Thatcher, etc. In her keynote, she was just kind of using a prop and explaining their answers, right? I'm working with her. I'm creating what they call deepfake videos of those personalities speaking now to her the answers to her questions, so that people can literally see the person responding to her, and it's less imaginary. It's still right, stuff like that. It's going to be more and more difficult to distinguish real from fiction. Obviously, Abraham Lincoln isn't talking on video today, but so that's an easy one. But if somebody went out and did Taylor Swift or Donald Trump or whoever it might be, you'd really have to be careful to make sure that it's authentic.
Yeah. There's a really popular thing. You might have seen it in the States. It's spread quite a lot on like adverts at the minute on Instagram, social media in England, where you can have a photo maybe from the 70s or 80s, you know, with your grandma, and it makes it into like an animation video where they put their arm around them, and it's
Yes.
believable like how accurate it really looks. I mean, some of
Yeah.
them there are a little bit, you know, nose is not in the right place, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, even
They're
just
getting
thinking,
better.
yeah, and even the space of what 2 years, I saw a video recently where it showed a picture of like Aristotle or something like that, and all the background was like fuzzy, you know, like pixelated, and then it shows you now just being smooth, clean cut. So I'm really like amazed by how fast it's come. But before we get into what I wanted to chat with you about, this ultimate competitive edge, because I know that you train people to use AI as that
I
competitive
do.
edge.
Yeah.
What is AI for anyone listening out there who's going, is it just this weird computer thing that's doing everything? What is it and how is it working?
Right. Well, there's a term called large language model, LLM. Basically, it's a database of information, a larger database than you can mentally conceive. I equate it to, in states, there's something called the Library of Congress. It's one of the largest physical libraries in the world. It's got somewhere around 39 million books in the library. The current release of ChatGPT's large language model, the 4.0, has data equivalent, if you were to put it into books, right,
Yeah.
to about 56 million books. So not quite double what the Library of Congress is. So it's got so much data that it's able to produce answers to questions and things like that that feel human, that feel
Mm,
real, that are incredibly valid and accurate. Unfortunately, there's still a little bit of what they call hallucination, where it will make things up. It'll infer based on data it may not have for a specific thing. So
right.
you always need to kind of fact check the results if you're going to share it publicly or do anything with it. But 95% of the time, it is so accurate that you'll think it's reading your mind sometimes. I mean, it is, but
Yeah.
it's just using data to produce results based on inputs you give it, right?
Mm. So this is going to sound, and I hope it's not a silly question, but how was that information fed into the LLM? Like, because it
Okay.
had to be programmed at some point with, here's some language books, whatever. You know, how did that happen?
Yeah, there are tools that they use to import that data. It gets consumed in a variety of different formats: text, audio, video,
Mm.
everything you can imagine going into that. It gets filtered and processed into the LLMs. So yeah,
So, I mean, I'm curious about this. So before we talk about this competitive edge, we see a lot now. We were having this discussion recently in the team, in the Confident Club. You know, we use our helpers generate copy and
yep,
ChatGPT and a few other things.
yeah.
Now it's got to a point where you can easily spot an AI written thing. Because I saw this recently where ChatGPT specifically likes to put dashes in. Um,
Yes.
so it's become quite apparent now. You can see easily if someone's generated something on ChatGPT. So the question I'm trying to think of is anyone, a business who's going to use AI, create this still authenticity? Because even now, if I scroll through LinkedIn in a second, I could see how many posts will be generated by AI. And I kind of lose a bit of trust there. And, you know,
Yeah.
I still want to read it, but I kind of think, oh, it's like a lazy way of doing it. So how do we make sure that, I'm guessing the answer is going to be a prompt here, but how do we make sure that we keep this authenticity so that
Yes.
it's not creating this world of, that's clearly AI?
Yep. So comments on that, if I will.
Mm,
First is right now there's that bit of skepticism, like what you said, that if that's AI, it's probably not as good, right? But in
yeah,
reality, the content is probably as good, maybe better than if I just read it out
yeah,
myself, right?
yeah,
So that kind of mentality of it's not as good will transform to the point where, oh, they didn't use AI. I probably don't want to read it, right?
yeah,
So that'll happen eventually.
yeah,
The second thing is, yes, prompts, right? There, one of the things that I share in my training class, the one that you've referenced, where I help people use
yeah,
AI as their competitive edge, is I teach how to train AI to know your language, your style, your voice, right? And so I've done this for me, and I've done this for many of my clients already. I have it learn the writing style, say, of Ricky. It'd be Ricky's writing style. And
Yeah.
then when you ask for content, you say, please give it to me in Ricky's style. And
Okay.
then it comes back. It doesn't sound like AI. It sounds like Ricky. And honestly, it does put some of those dashes in. So I just will do a text swap, right?
Yeah.
Replace dash with comma, right?
Yeah.
And that set up. It's funny because that is a meme right now. Dashes are the indicator.
Yeah.
The
Emojis I see a lot. It
Yeah.
likes to put emojis in. Yeah.
Yep. And I specifically might say, low, not a lot of emojis, none
Yeah.
or few. And again, anything that I produce with it, I proofread myself, and I will remove emojis if there's too many. I'll replace those dashes with commas, things of that nature,
Yeah.
before I share it publicly, right?
So it sounds like a silly question, but it'd be check the prompts to make sure that you're getting the output you wanted,
Yes,
and train it in your voice so that you reduce the amount of time that you need to look for those things and still have that authenticity run through it.
exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And I've created a specific agent, which is essentially just a very fancy prompt inside of ChatGPT that I've taught now 50 different writing styles. So I can literally say, write this in the style of Earl Waud, or I could say, write this in the style of Jack Canfield, or
Wow.
write this in the style of Edgar Allan Poe. The list, again, it's over 50 people now that I've essentially taught it their writing style, their voice, their tone, and I can now have it produce output in those styles with just one quick prompt change.
That's interesting. So you could potentially produce a book in Edgar Allan Poe's style, and just get it out there.
Yes, 100%.
So this might be a myth. Maybe you can help me out on this one, because this was something that, so if we do a podcast like this,
Mm-hmm.
Riverside already has AI on it that it generates fantastically the transcript for you. It generates subject titles that are SEO focused. It even generates magic clips of the key moments, which is great. So I'll take like a transcript of this episode, for example, stick it into ChatGPT with the prompts I've already said, and say, please create me an SEO blog on this transcription,
Yeah.
and we'll embed the link of whatever. The question that I often I don't know the answer to, and this is why I'm asking yourself, is the myth of, I've heard that if you put something out of AI onto internet, like Google, so a new blog page on my website, it recognizes that it's been written by AI, so it won't rank it as high. Is that true?
There is within Google search and ranking capabilities, it does look for AI
Right.
specific keys, right? So that is true.
Okay. Right.
But again, if you form the prompt correctly, it's less likely that will be. There's actually a tool that I've used. I don't use it as much anymore now that I've trained my ChatGPT to speak like me. But there's a tool out there where you can put generated content in, and it'll tell you, is this AI? What's the percentage of human to AI
Wow.
ratio, right? And then it will suggest how to fix it so it sounds human.
Wow. So there's a way that you could kind of, what I'm hearing, if I'm hearing right, I could cheat Google in a way to say, this isn't AI because I've used this tool. Okay, that's interesting, because I mean, we all want to like produce content. We all want to produce, good stuff. And if we're doing something in a business level where I want to probably create a funnel, or I want to create this as that blog transcript, people can organically find it. Then they want to find out about you, and then they might go into your funnel of your books and all that sort of thing. It's kind of like the AI is making this really easy for us to do this, but then we're still being punished for it. So that's what I'm finding it hard to understand, is like, we're giving you all these tools to make this easy.
Yep.
So why now does it make, well, no, you use AI, so we're not going to do it. It's like, well, AI is the world, right? So do you think that'll ever change?
I do. We're going to see that transition, like I was saying earlier about how when you see something, you say, oh, that's AI, it's probably not as good. Pretty soon you say, oh, that's human, that's probably not as good. The same thing will happen in this environment, right? That's it'll transform to the point where if you're not using AI, you're going to get penalized, right? I think that's
Yeah.
happened.
So it's kind of like the AI will become the alpha or the main
Yes.
controller. Because
Yeah.
this is interesting now with Google. What I find fascinating, because Google has Gemini, I think it is.
Hmm.
That now, if
Yeah.
I type in Google, like for example, when I went over to America, I had to get my ESTA, and I was like, when do I need to apply for an ESTA? And what happens is on Google now, the top box now, even before the sponsored ads that people pay to get up there, Gemini will start to find the answer. You go, cool, found my answer, done. So now I'm
Yes.
not to this point where I'm not even scrolling through page 1, page 2, page 3 to find my answer,
Yeah.
which is just like, what the hell? That's just sped things so quickly. But I
It
feel
has.
bad for these people to put it out there.
Yeah,
Well,
it's disrupting search, right? Google,
mm,
the
yeah,
search
yeah,
engine, right? It's disrupting them as well. An example: my wife's car uh, popped up the service, and it had a code B17127 or something, and to us that means nothing, right? I took a
yeah,
picture of that and I dropped it in chat and said, "Hey, my wife's Acura has this code. What's it mean?" And it came back and said the B means this, the one means this, the two, and so
yeah.
we know exactly what service her car needs within seconds. And it wasn't a Google search; it was a ChatGPT, right?
That's incredible. So here's an idea. Is there a danger here, Earl, that we can become so absorbed into this and so reliant on this that if, like, one day it was to just shut down or something, we've kind of become like obsolete? Because wait, how am I going to find the answer to my wife's? You know, what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's like, how the hell is life going to continue where we still have resources around us? I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's an evolution, if you will. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I know for a long time I got so reliant on Google, right? That if Google went away, I'd be like, I don't know, I don't know how to find where I'm going. Where's my Google Maps, right? Where's
Yeah.
what restaurant do I want to go to? I don't know which one's got good ratings. The whole, and without
Yeah.
that, I would probably lose my mind a little bit, honestly. If you go a little further back, the internet itself, right? Before
Mm,
the internet,
true. Yeah.
uh, we transformed where we really live without the internet, without streaming services. Now
Yeah.
and it's going to be the same with AI. We are on it,
Yeah.
and it will rock our world if it goes off for a while, right?
Yeah. So it's particularly interesting this one. This was been having a lot about how do we stay ahead of the game. We don't want to fall back. We run a company which is presentation training and all
Hmm.
about beliefs. And we, as I mentioned earlier on, we help people to communicate with impact. And a
Yes.
lot of it's about beliefs because that drives a lot of those behaviors. And we don't teach like a single thing at PowerPoint, but we teach people how to really communicate, make impact. And we've even been discussing about, well, how are we going to start to onboard AI into our business? And you mentioned your friend who's using AI for like presentations and stuff. We still recognize that there's still that human element, that AI could write an amazing script, but the human still has to develop it. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering if like we're going to see this in the future where an AI avatar could deliver a presentation in such a way that that human element comes out, the vulnerability, the tears, the cryingness, just being a human. That's got to happen, I'm sure, in the future.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do we stay ahead of the game so we don't fall back? Because ChatGPT now, a lot of things I've been seeing is about how the over 40-year-olds are using these ChatGPT, but there's so many other tools that people are just not using. So how do we stay ahead of the game?
The answer is you got to engage with it. You got to get good at using it so that you can augment what you're doing. You don't necessarily have to be replacing yourself, right? But you do have to leverage it because there frankly things that we haven't even thought of, ways to use it that will make us be able to do more, do it better, do it faster, do it cheaper than we can right now. And
Yeah.
uh, you got to get good at using it. That's why I teach everybody that I work with, use it every day, even if it's just for one thing simple. Get in there, play with it, get so comfortable with it that you become like you got to have it.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Kubler, the change curve, where you implement a change in life, and then you get the depression part of it, and then eventually you come out the other side where you accept it. It feels like that curve has to be even shorter now because we've just got to accept it quicker and quicker because we
Yes.
really don't have the time to go through the depression side of it. We've just got to go, right, this is part of it now. We've just got to be more resilient because the time I take get used to a tool, the next tool would have been out, and then I'm behind. So it's very
Yeah.
fast learning now.
Yeah.
Well, question then, Al, because obviously that whole thing about, you train people to use AI as their ultimate competitive edge. So how
Yes.
can AI help someone unlock their potential, not just their productivity? That's an important
Sure.
question for me.
Excellent question. Thank you for asking that one. So, the in my training, that do 4 pillars right now. The first one is getting good with prompting. You got to know how to ask. You got to give it the guardrails. I mentioned so much data in there. If you don't know how to narrow that focus, you're going to get general responses. You want very tailored, specific, laser focused responses. So I teach how to do that. The next thing is the communications. There's one of the biggest superpowers of AI is its ability to craft communications in all forms. That's social media posts, that's books, that's scripts, whatever it might be, podcast, blogs, etc. It can help craft that communication in such a way. And I show people, like I said, I've got an agent now that's 50 different languages, if you will. And a side note on that, literally, I just got the idea. It actually can speak Klingon as well. I don't know if you're a Star Trek fan or
Brilliant.
not, but I asked it
Wow.
to put something into Klingon, and sure enough, it did it. So,
Wow. And that's accurate as well, I'm guessing.
yeah,
For the
well, I
Klingon
don't
speakers
speak
out there.
Klingon that well, so
Great.
it looked accurate.
Yeah.
But I have used it to translate things into Spanish, French, Russian, Chinese, and I've asked native speakers of those languages, and they said it's spot on. So,
Wow.
yeah, and I have a tool that I use that creates audio as well. I took something I wrote in English, ChatGPT translated it into those 4 different languages. I put those translated into this audio generator that I've trained it with my voice, and it spit out a recording of that speaking that language that's so much like me that my own family couldn't tell it wasn't me. Right.
Wow.
So it's really getting good already.
Yeah.
Um, the third thing, the communications, right? The third thing is our company brand, right? A lot of us think we know what our brand is and what it stands for and how it attracts clients, but we don't know it as well as we should. And the third pillar is I show people how to get the definition for their brand so clear that it makes it easy for your business to attract instead of you having to chase, right?
Which is the dream, right? That's what we
Yes,
all want.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
what everybody needs, right? And then the final pillar is getting to know your customer. I help you use AI to take that brand and use it to define your customer so clearly. And I literally show you how to create prompts so it creates visual pictures of examples of your ideal customers, your ideal clients. So you can look them in the eye and craft your message, your voice, looking at them, knowing that you're speaking directly to them, right? And it helps you
Wow.
get that focus. Those 4 pillars transform businesses. So that's
Yeah.
what I've been teaching people to do.
So someone listening, today, like, I guess the question would be, what's a simple way that someone listening today can use AI? Obviously, those 4 pillars, obviously contact Earl, right? Get in touch with Earl. He's going to show you how
Yeah.
to do it. But what is just a simple way that someone can use it? Maybe it's ChatGPT or maybe it's something else, but, um, just to help them get to where they want to get to, whether that's a business goal, a life goal, whatever it might be. What's a simple way of using it?
Use it in their messaging, right? Whatever that message might be. An example, uh, a lot of people use social media, Facebook. You get this little pop up, hey, it's Ricky's birthday today, right?
Yeah.
And you click, and then there's this little thing, happy birthday, Ricky. You hit send, and boom, it's on their wall.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many people doing that it's noise now. And I know it is personal because you went in and you clicked it and you thought of Ricky that day.
Yeah.
But if you take that and you go into chat and you say, hey, it's my friend Ricky's birthday today. He's got a podcast. He's got this other that he does, give it a little bit of information. Say, I want to
Yeah.
give him a message that connects with him.
Yeah.
It'll spit out something that is personal, and if you use it in Earl style or whatever style it might be, it'll sound like your messaging, right? And then you
Wow.
paste that into that happy birthday, and it's going to resonate with the person so much more.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
can build relationships, right? Relationships are one of the most important things. Your network is your net worth, right? But it's more than that, right? It's
Yeah.
the relationships are the valuable thing we have. So doing a little bit of messaging tweaks using AI can transform that process.
Really powerful, because I'm a big lover of direct mail, physical things that go in the post, because um, physical things stay. They make an
Hmm.
impact. Like a gift, something like that can stay on the desk. To that
Yes.
point you just said there, does the same thing. Because I
Yeah.
know when I see someone's put happy birthday, and quite often you see this on Facebook where it says happy birthday, Earl, red balloon, party cake. You know that
Yes.
they've just clicked the one button, done. And
Yep.
it's just like, I'll just say, but doing that is a really nice way to connect with people that's going to make them, wow. I mean, they're probably not going to know if you use AI or not, but it'd be
Right.
like, that's so lovely that you wrote that.
Yeah.
That's going to mean so much more, rather than me just, because this is what I do on my birthday. I always have this thing every single year, a goal. Can I get more than 100? And I've realized as I get older, Earl, I'm getting less and less birthday, comments on my birthday, which is very sad. However, what I do is I'll see all of those comments, like, 100 comments saying happy birthday, Ricky. And I'll just go, thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. A process. Whereas
Yes.
I'd much rather go through and read all of the lovely comments that they have generated. So I
Yeah.
love that. That's really powerful.
I'll
Well,
share.
yeah.
I did that recently with somebody. There's a gentleman that I met a while ago. He's in an industry that I'm very interested in supporting, and I'm not going to give names or anything right now, but
Yeah.
we're acquaintances, right? We're not beyond that. We met and connected. I did this process with him. He got he's well known. He got hundreds of messages. There were thumbs up and stuff like that he responded on some of them. The only one that I saw that he actually wrote a message, hey, thank you, appreciate it, kind of thing, was mine.
Wow.
And that speaks, right?
Yeah, yeah. So are you saying then, Earl, I can sack off my family because the AI could probably say something much nicer than my own family? Well, myths and conceptions. Um, a lot of people fear AI, or
Yeah,
not probably the fear, but the fear of learning new, or it's new, or I don't really know, I'm not comfortable with that. So
right.
let's talk about some conceptions. What's the easiest things that we can demyth of using AI?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, AI is going to steal my job,
Yeah.
right? That's going to happen a little bit. There are certain
Mhm.
jobs that it's just so darn good at doing it. It's going to eliminate that completely. But
Yeah.
for the most people, it's not AI that's going to take their job. It's somebody who knows how to use AI that will, right? And as long as you've got that understanding and start to learn it yourself, you're protecting your job, you're protecting your future, your income, your livelihood.
Yeah.
If you say no, I'm afraid of it, you're putting yourself at risk.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm really curious about this because, it's something that I'm using daily, all the time. And
Good.
ChatGPT is my go-to. But
Hmm.
I'd love to know what tools you use day in, day out. Is
Yep.
it ChatGPT? Is it something else? And why are you using these?
Yeah. So for me, it's a long list. I've been using AI for quite a while. I helped co-found a company a while ago that used AI and and other models to stock prices. So I had
Ooh,
about 2 years of deep in the trenches working with AI as kind of lessons that most people won't ever have, right?
mm,
So that's kind of how I got my foundation. So I've been using AI for more than 5 years. I've got a list of probably 25 tools that I use regularly.
yeah,
ChatGPT is top of the list, and I think that is for most people. I heard
yeah,
recently they get somewhere 40 million queries a day
yeah,
to ChatGPT. The next is like a couple of million, right? So it's a big difference. Another tool that is very much like that I use is Claude.
okay, yeah,
Claude AI. I've found if you're writing fiction, it is
yeah,
much better at generating relatable, real, involving fiction.
yeah,
Claude AI is my fiction go-to. If
right,
I'm doing research type work, I use a tool called Perplexity.
okay,
Uh, ChatGPT is kind of caught up to that one, so I haven't switched to that back and forth as much. But a lot of people still think it's better for
yeah,
research type relating. It does. It provides good references and links that you can use, in your final result. So those are probably the three most used tools.
Yeah.
There's a tool called Suno AI that I use to create music. And again, this
Oh,
goes back to another thing that I do for people. And instead of just sending that little birthday message, I'll take that information I know about them, drop it into Suno, and create a song
I
that
think I
is,
remember you playing this for me when we was
I
on a
have
call
played,
together. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I've played that. I use that when I do my trainings. You know how you have a little bit of time before the training starts. I have
Yeah.
AI music playing in the background so that as people come into the conversation, into the webinar trainings, that it's not boring. It's got something
Oh,
going on. And the birthday songs land well. I've had people respond, say, "This is the best present I got all year. You brought me
yeah.
to tears." I mean, it's impactful, right? So
Oh.
Suno is a powerful little tool.
So is that
Um,
SUNO? SUNO?
SUNO, yeah, .ai.
You've just given me a fantastic idea. You probably
Yep.
already do this, so apologies if I'm saying how to suck eggs. And maybe this is a first for us before this gets published. I do a lot of workshops. I use a lot of
Yes.
Jack Canfield's work, as you do. And I
Yes.
just thought of a great idea. You probably nailed this already. Most of the time, you get the list of the attendees. You could program a song. So I always use, I use Ecamm as a streaming device to generate content and animation.
Hmm.
I could create a song. I could get all of the names. Maybe I could find some information about them if I knew them, whatever. Put it
Yep.
into a music track. So as they're in the waiting room, or so usually if I use Zoom, they come on. There's a holding screen with my face on it, and then a
Yeah.
countdown clock.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
music could be played with all of their names in it, like Ricky Locke is here today with some magic, and like
Yeah.
that. And imagine them go, was that my name? How special
Yes.
that they would feel because you went the time to do that.
Yeah.
I might have to use that. That's
There
really
you
cool.
go. Yep.
Very
And
nice.
I use that.
Yeah.
You can generate instrumental music as well.
Yeah.
So I've used it to create the opening for podcasts that I
Yeah.
have, right? So that's got yeah, I own the music rights. I don't have to pay anybody for that, right? So,
Oh, brilliant. Wow.
yeah, things like that. So that's a tool.
Yeah.
There are
Cool.
a whole variety of video tools that I use. Excuse me. There's one called Kling, Kling. There's another one. I forget the name of it. Hold on, I gotta look. Starts with an H. Hedra, Hedra.
Okay.
That's a video generation tool. I use Midjourney. It's an image generation tool that is the best in class.
Yeah.
ChatGPT just recently their image generation tool, and it's 1,000 times better than the old version. Midjourney is still
Yes.
superior, but they're both good. I use both a lot now.
Well, I don't know, Earl, if you had this in America. Everyone in England did this where they started making pictures. I did this myself, and I did it for my members of my team. A
Hmm.
picture of me as a item, like a toy, like a
Yes.
box. Everybody
Yep.
started doing that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you had
yeah.
the same.
I've generated that for myself and for some of my friends. I
Yeah.
also did the whole Lego where I've got about 15 different versions of Lego Earl in
Nice.
iconic movies. So like there's Lego Earl being chased by a dinosaur for Jurassic Park. There's
Brilliant.
Lego Earl swinging on a lamp post in the rain with an umbrella singing in the rain, right? So you get the idea. A whole bunch of those I created. I've just started doing the baby, right? Have you seen the baby
Yeah.
ones? Right? As I have my intro to one of my speeches on stage, I'm now doing as a baby, right? So
Nice.
yeah, it's
Cool.
just
That's
ridiculous
cool.
stuff like that. So
Wow.
on my website, and I think you'll probably share the link, the hindsightmentor.com, I have a resources tab menu, and in there, all the different things that I use regularly are linked, so it's very easy to find them.
Yeah.
I've got the platform hosting platform I use. I've got some training people that I follow, of course, Patty Aubrey, etc.
Yeah.
And then all the tools, the video tools, the different, yeah, they're all there. So
So I have to ask this then, and you don't have to share. But how much are you paying for all these subscriptions? Because that's a lot of AI tools. I pay my $24 a month for ChatGPT. But you
yes,
must be spending a lot of money for all these subscriptions.
I am. It's in the per month. A lot of
Yeah.
them I'll buy the annual
Okay. Yeah.
subscription and get a little bit of a discount, right? And then they're staggered, so I don't have to pay it all at once. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've got quite a few that I've used, some that I've stopped using and I've let go of and because they aren't keeping up. I've got some that I use for authoring books. As you mentioned, I've written best-selling books. I've got
Yeah.
international best-selling books. I've co-authored books, etc. And there's a tool that I use called Novel Crafter that I'm using a lot. That's AI, helps with AI generation. That is, probably north of $500. Yeah,
But clearly, from what you've been able to produce, that is nothing compared to the result you're bringing and creating. So,
yeah,
as a segue then for that, because I know that particularly interested about the writing of the books, and you're helping people to author their own books using AI. So
I
tell us a little bit
am.
about that. Yeah.
Yep. So I have a program called the Hindsight Author Accelerator Program. I help people in whatever phase of their book writing journey they are in. I can help them move it forward. I've helped people who I've wanted to write a book for 20 years. I don't really know where to start. Go from that to published and having their book, available on Amazon, using it as their credibility piece. I've helped all the way at the other end of the scale. Right now, I'm working with Robert Allen. He's written his own book, everything, and it's a phenomenal book on how to write a bestseller, which is appropriate.
Yeah.
It's launching today, and I've been helping him market it, right? So I've got
Wow.
a lot of people who are helping it go to number one. It's already up this morning. It was at number 8 overall in his category on Amazon, which is huge. And then everywhere in between, right? If somebody's got, I've got pages of pages. I format and translate that into good prose to put in a book. I help them format it. I'll help them design the cover, come up with title and subtitle, because that is one of the most important pieces. The cover, the title, and the subtitle, they've got to be spot on or you're not going to
Yeah.
get any traction. So I help with that. I help them go on to Amazon and do all the work with self-publishing, coming up with keywords and search engine
Wow.
categories, all of that. And then I've got methods that I use to help them promote it to ideally go to number one in their categories. So I do all the things from idea all the way to bestseller.
We might have to have a chat because on my vision board is a book. So as you know, TEDx coming out soon. So we might have to have a
Yes.
chat, Al. That's great. Well, to wrap this up, because there was loads of things I wanted to talk to you about as well, but I've
Yeah.
been so engrossed into this conversation because your life is just incredible, and you've had so many things happen. You know, software engineer turned to this personal growth, and now speaker, training AI, and lots of different things. So we might have to come back on the podcast to talk about that as well. But I'd
Yes.
love to wrap this up by saying, what's like one thing you want the listeners or watchers of this video to go away and think about or do based on our conversation?
Oh gosh. One thing.
Or you can have two if you want.
Well,
I'll be nice. You can have two
yeah.
if you want.
That would be to embrace it. Um, don't be afraid of it. Know that it's not here to take over your life or replace you. It's here to augment you, to make you better, to be able to do things faster, quicker, cheaper. It can be your, if you let it. And remember, it doesn't have to be all about business. It certainly is the competitive in business. Without it, you're not going to have this that you will with it, in my opinion. It can just be fun, creating videos of you as a baby doing a presentation, or turning yourself into a Lego or a toy in a bubble package, right? One of the things I've really enjoyed. I told you I've got it trained on how to write in different writing styles. I've combined that with my love of success principles, and I've created content to share various principles, like taking 100% responsibility in the style of Edgar Allan Poe. And that is such a weird combination that it somehow really works. And so I've shared
Yeah.
articles on LinkedIn and various other places of, here's a success principle, but written in the style of Edgar Allan Poe. And it's
Wow.
just a lot of fun.
I'm curious to ask, have you done it in Napoleon Hill? Because I know that was a big book in your life, transformed
Yes,
you. Have you done it in Napoleon Hill's voice at
I,
all?
I have.
Ah,
And I mentioned my friend doing the keynotes. One of her visionary council members is Napoleon Hill. So I've
wow.
also created videos of him speaking answers to her in his voice. And it's pretty darn cool.
That is cool. That is cool. Well, oh, thank you so much for coming on. If people want to find you, learn more, maybe train with you, whether they want to learn about the books or obviously the ultimate competitive edge, where can they
Yep.
find you?
So the easiest way is they can go to my website, thehindsightmentor.com. I have information about the programs I offer. I've got a link to find all of the books that I've published and a couple that I've helped others publish as well. That list will be growing continuously. I've got the link to the resources that I mentioned. A way to book me as a speaker if you want me to come and speak. All the things are there. So you can even book a time to meet with me in person online, like through a Zoom call. That's probably the easiest way. Earl at thehindsightmentor.com. You can email me. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Earl. An absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on to the Unlock podcast. Thank you.
Oh, Ricky, I am so grateful that you invited me. This has been a blast for me. I love AI and I love sharing about it and helping people embrace it. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thanks, Earl. Thank you.